You know that feeling, right? When someone says something, just a little comment, but it has that edge and it just stings, and you just stand there. Then later, maybe hours later, you're replaying it in your head, thinking of all the perfect, brilliant things you should have said. It is absolutely infuriating. Well, today we're going to dive into this because we're going to make sure that whole scenario, it's a thing of the past. And this right here, this is the absolute truth that nobody really talks about. Your silence? It's not neutral. Not at all. To the person who just disrespected you, your silence is basically permission. It's like a big bright green light telling them, hey, you can do that again. And you know what? They will. But today, yeah, that stops. That whole cycle is going to break right now. I'm going to give you six specific calm responses that work pretty much instantly to flip the whole situation right back around. So here's how we're going to do it. First, we need to understand why this even happens. Then I'll give you the tools. And finally, we're going to get to the real secret sauce, the core belief that makes these tools incredibly powerful. All right, so let's start with a really crucial mindset shift here, because honestly, most people get this totally wrong. We tend to think disrespect is just, random. Some people are just rude, right? But that's not actually what's happening. So the common belief is some people are just rude. But the truth? Disrespect is a test every single time. See, before someone decides to treat you badly, they're watching you. They're looking for a signal, and they're trying to answer one simple question. Is this person going to say something, or are they just going to let it slide? And I mean, think about it. If you have a history of just letting things go, you've already answered their question for them before they even open their mouth. Okay, so if we know it's a test, the key is learning how to respond in a way that feels right, Not too aggressive, but definitely not too passive either. So let's get into the first couple of responses. These are designed to help you take back control of the conversation, like right away. All right, response number one is this simple phrase, yeah, that's what I did, and it worked for me. So picture this. Someone makes a snide little comment about a choice you made. Instead of jumping to defend yourself, you just look at them and say that. Now, the key here is all in the delivery. A flat voice, a relaxed face, and absolutely zero apology in your tone. You're agreeing with them, but it's completely on your terms. And here is why this works so well. First, it just takes all the power out of their comment. By agreeing without any shame, you give them nothing to push against. They were expecting a fight, some drama, but you didn't give it to them. And that makes them look like they just started something over absolutely nothing. The attack just collapses. Okay, response number two. This one is, well, it's surgical. What exactly do you mean by that? You see, people who are disrespectful love to hide behind vague comments and little jabs, right? The kind of stuff where they can say, oh, I was just kidding. This one simple, calm question completely removes that shield. Because here's what happens. You remove their plausible deniability. You force them to actually own their words. It puts all the power and accountability right back on them. They now have two choices. Either they spell out exactly what they meant, which, trust me, most people won't do, or they have to backpedal and retreat. Either way, you win, and you never even made an accusation. All right, moving on. The next two responses are designed for those situations with people you see all the time, a coworker, a family member, where disrespect isn't a one-off thing, it's becoming a pattern. This is all about drawing a line in the sand with absolute clarity. Okay, here's response number three. I'm going to let that go this one time, but I need you to know I won't let it go again. Now, this is perfect for when someone crosses a clear boundary. The delivery is everything. You say it quietly, there's no big performance, no anger, it's not a threat, it's just information. You are simply stating a fact about where your line is. And really, think of this warning as a gift. Seriously. It's not aggressive. You're giving them a clear, fair shot to correct their course before the relationship changes for good. Most reasonable people, when they hear that, will take the chance. And the ones who don't, well, they've just shown you exactly who they are. All right, response number four is all about refusing to be put in a box. It can look a couple of different ways. So say someone interrupts you. You can calmly say, that's a fair point. Now let me finish what I was saying. Boom, you've just reclaimed your space. Or if they ask one of those snarky, passive-aggressive questions, you can turn the spotlight right back on them. What I find more interesting is why that bothers you. See, in both cases, you're just refusing to play their game. You show them you are simply unmovable. Okay, that last one, refusing the box, is a perfect bridge to our final section, changing the dynamic. These last two responses, they're a little more advanced.
They're designed to fundamentally change the entire energy flow of the interaction. So what is response number 5? It's one word: nothing. This is maybe the most powerful and honestly the hardest one to master. I'm talking no words, no eye roll, no sigh, no reaction at all. See, when someone disrespects you, what they really want is payment. They want your emotional energy. And genuine indifference denies them that payment. You just look at them for a second, totally neutral, and then you just continue on as if they never even spoke. When they get no return on their investment, they'll stop investing.
And this brings us to our sixth and final response. This one is for when you need to address a pattern of behavior. It's not about the one little comment they just made, it's about all of them. And you deliver it as a calm, direct observation. I've noticed something. This keeps happening between us. See, you aren't arguing about a single moment. You're revealing a pattern. And that's the key. It takes away all their escape routes. They can't say it was just a misunderstanding or you're being too sensitive because you're not talking about one instance. You're showing them you've been paying attention this whole time. And sometimes just knowing that you see the pattern is enough to make them stop for good. Okay, so we've covered all 6 responses. But before we wrap up, I want to land on the most important point of all. Because it's not actually the words themselves that make this work, it's the belief that you have behind the words. Look, the words are the tools, but the belief? That's the power. The real power comes from a core belief that respect is the absolute minimum standard for how you let people treat you. It is not some reward you have to earn. And when you truly stop acting like you need someone's permission to expect basic human decency, everything changes. The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you hold eye contact. Your very presence becomes the message. So every day really is a chance to decide who will you show them you are. The person who commands respect isn't some new version of you that you have to build. That person has always been there. These responses, they just give that person a voice. You are worth that respect. You always have been.